Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Planning Commission regular meeting of May 14th, 2025. I will call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Cooley requested an excused absent this evening. Commissioner Copeland?
Present.
Commissioner Cueva?
Present.
Vice Chair Smith?
Here.
Chairman Southard?
Here. Right. Go ahead and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Smith, will you lead us in the pledge?
Hand over your heart. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
No adjustments.
Okay, and any conflicts of interest disclosure for tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to item B. This is our public comment period. This meeting will be open to the public and conducted in a virtual format to be inclusive of all participation preferences. Public comment participation is encouraged by emailing any comments to the city's clerk office or by calling in using the phone number provided on the front of the agenda. Do we have any public comment on items not on the agenda?
I have no written requests. Bunny, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay, that'll move us to item C, action items, public hearings and requests. And item C1, approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion for approval of our minutes?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Copeland?
Yes.
Commissioner Cueva?
Yay.
Vice Chair Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Southard?
Yes. All right, that takes us to item C2. This is Plan 2025-0204, public hearing to consider a resolution repealing the Noble Creek Vista specific plan. Can we have a staff report, please?
Hi, good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. My name is Melody Arechiga, Senior Planner with Community Development. On April 9th, the Planning Commission opened the public hearing and continued the public hearing without discussion to tonight's Planning Commission meeting. Before you today is a request to adopt a resolution recommending that the City Council repeal the Noble Creek Vista specific plan. For reference, on the screen is a land use map found on page 14 of the specific plan, noting the boundaries of the area, which is between Oak Valley Parkway and Brookside Avenue, east of Beaumont Avenue. Prior to discussing the background and details of the request, staff would like to inform the Planning Commission that we have today received a written public comment, which has been provided to you as part of the record. In summary, the public comment provided on behalf of the property owners Noble Creek Meadows, LLC, has expressed concern regarding the effects of the repeal of the certified EIR of the specific plan. They have not expressed opposition to the repeal of the specific plan, but would like to coordinate with the city on the environmental as they are preparing to submit an application of a specific plan and other entitlements. I apologize. They have, as noted in the letter, the property owner has been working on a subsequent ERR that would be part of the submittal packet. To clarify, and as discussed in the staff report, this is the only request. This request is only to adopt a resolution recommending that the City Council repeal the Noble Creek specific plan for the reasons staff will provide momentarily. As such, not affecting the certification of the approved EIR. Therefore, the preparers of the public comment may continue to rely on the studies and information in the specific plan EIR to prepare their subsequent EIR document. I will now continue with the background and details of the request. On February 15, 2005, the Beaumont City Council passed Resolution 2005-11, which is included as an attachment to the staff report certifying the Noble Creek specific plan EIR and approving the specific plan itself. On March 17, 2005, an action was filed challenging the city's certification of the EIR, and was settled in its entirety pursuant to a settlement agreement and final stipulated judgment approved by the court on May 31st, 2006. These are also included as attachments. The specific plan was republished and approved as of October 2006 and was amended on June of 2014. Certain land of approximately 41 acres in Planning Area 2 within the specific plan has been acquired by San Gorgonio Pass Water Agency for recharge ponds and was not originally contemplated by the specific plan. Furthermore, the city has acquired 29 acres within a specific plan for the purpose of constructing a police station. Due to these changed circumstances, the specific plan is no longer feasible. Pursuant to the Beaumont Municipal Code and Government Code Section 65453, provides that a specific plan shall be prepared, adopted, and amended, including a repeal, in the same manner as the general plan, except that a specific plan may be adopted by ordinance or resolution as often as deemed necessary by the City Council. The repeal of the specific plan is exempt from the provisions of CEQA pursuant to Guidelines Section 15061B3 because it can be seen with certainty that the proposed action will not have any effect or any substantial effect on the environment. A 20-day public notice was placed in the press enterprise on March 20th, and property owners within a 300-foot radius of the project site were notified on April 22nd, 2025. And then, as mentioned, we received the one written public comment. The Beaumont Municipal Code authorizes the Planning Commission to recommend to the City Council approval with modifications or denial of the proposed application. The Commission's recommendation shall be transmitted to the City Clerk for scheduling the matter for consideration by the City Council. With this, staff recommends that the Planning Commission hold a public hearing and waive the full reading and adopt by title only a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Beaumont recommending repeal of the Noble Creek Vista specific plan. This concludes our presentation, and we are available for any questions.
Chair and members of the Planning Commission, I would like to add, with regards to the comment that you received that was placed on your desk and emailed to you earlier, the developer, Noble Creek Meadows LLC, had met with staff to go over their concerns the other day. And ultimately, the primary concern is the environmental documents that have been prepared and certain approvals that they've gotten based on the mitigation measures of the prior EIR. And so their concerns are that some of these documents might not be taken into account if the Noble Creek specific plan is repealed. However, what we've indicated is that we're not decertifying the EIR, as Melody had pointed out. The EIR stands, so that document still exists. So whatever is submitted to the staff, based on the pre-application that was given to us last year, we may still continue to look at those environmental documents as long as they're not outdated. If no environmental changes have happened since the time of that EIR, they could still be taken into account. The other thing to note is that the developer, if the underlying zone is met all the development standards based on the subdivision that's being proposed, they can continue with that. However, if they're not, they can submit another specific plan. And I believe that that is their intent, to submit a new specific plan. And again, if the underlying zone, if they cannot meet the standards of the underlying zone. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Perfect. Thank you for that report and update. Do we have any questions or discussion from the commission?
I have a question. So I understand what you just said about the EIR, but wouldn't you have to adopt new components in reference to, let's say, traffic? Because the traffic study, I'm sure, is outdated in the EIR. So we are going to have to update it, correct?
That's correct. So the plan is for a subsequent EIR to be submitted as part of their entitlement package. And that consultant, whoever prepares that for them, will be looking at traffic, noise, all other studies that were done, and they'll identify if anything is outdated. You're correct.
A subsequent EIR or an amendment?
A subsequent EIR.
So a completely new document?
New document, but taking into account what's already been done. So there's some items that might not have to be redone.
Fault studies, so on and so forth.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any more questions? Okay, I've got several. So the SP also came with a development agreement. I believe it was 20 years that the development agreement is expired or expiring very shortly. Is that correct?
Melody, is that one of the DAs that's coming before, or has it expired?
I believe it's expired. Yes, it's expired.
Okay, so the DA is expired. The SP is getting revoked. So the challenge that happened to the project would have been tied to the specific plan or to the adoption of the EIR?
It would have been tied to the specific plan. There was a settlement agreement.
Yes.
And that settlement agreement will be going away.
Right.
With the termination of the specific plan.
Okay. Okay. So
This is the attorney on the line here. Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes, thank you,
Yes, we can
Bob.
hear you.
Yeah, sure. So maybe I could provide a little more clarity. Yeah, the development agreement has expired, and the lawsuit that was filed was I believe it was a sequel lawsuit that was filed by a neighborhood association. And then there was a settlement agreement that was entered into by I think, 3 different owners of land within the project area. And the settlement agreement required that all the transportation facilities be obtained before any building permits or certificates of occupancy could be issued. And, the transportation improvements were significant and costly. And none of the 3 prior owners could get together and agree to finance the traffic improvements. So essentially, the project became infeasible as a result of the settlement agreement and the fact you had 3 different owners within the specific plan who all had differing plans. And so that's why it became infeasible. Yes, the development agreement has expired.
Okay.
I think that covers everything.
Okay. Yeah, the settlement agreement was onerous. It was almost impossible to be able to comply with. Okay, so the new application, even if we're not decertifying the EIR, that's not going to impact their ability, and they're not going to be tied to any of the deal points that were in that settlement agreement. They're basically starting anew.
That's
So
correct, sir.
let me comment on that one because the settlement agreement applied to the specific plan and the EIR. And it's possible that if the applicant submits a new specific plan with different transportation requirements, that the settlement agreement will no longer apply because it'll be a different specific plan.
Right.
But, to make a ironclad statement that the settlement agreement is void, I don't think we can do that at this time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because the plan or the I guess the conceptual site plan that was attached to it, without any connection to Beaumont Avenue, the various concerns I think that were highlighted as part of that settlement agreement, it's a very, very narrowed down version and impacts to that. So, okay.
Sir, just to clarify what our city attorney has said, Bob, are you indicating that the settlement agreement will not terminate with the termination of the specific plan, or just the items pertaining to the environmental?
So the settlement agreement is a contract between a number of different parties. It is between a neighborhood association, the city of Beaumont, and then the developers who were under the specific plan originally. So it is a contract. This planning commission has no authority to terminate a contract without the consent of all of the parties. So the settlement agreement, which is a contract, will not terminate. However, the question is, will it have any continuing relevance given that it was based upon a specific plan that no longer exists? And it is possible that the settlement agreement will no longer apply because the underlying subject matter of the settlement agreement no longer exists.
So the revocation of the SP could render it null and void.
Could render it null and void. I mean, but different attorneys can make different arguments.
Now, this is going to be going before the city council upon your recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a different story with the city council, Bob, in terms of their authority?
No, they can't terminate a contract that has multiple parties. The contract will still remain in effect. The only way to get that terminated is by getting the consent of all the parties to the contract.
So it would just be advisable then to the applicant at this point that some of the terms and points that were considered in that settlement agreement, like not adding lanes on Beaumont Avenue, may be prudent for them to ensure that their studies and design still are able to comply with those aspects then.
That would be advisable,
Well,
sir, yes.
I'm not giving legal advice to the applicant.
Oh, no, not at all, not at all.
The applicant can submit a specific plan, and the applicant can determine whether the settlement agreement applies. It may not apply because it's a different project, but I don't think we can, sitting here today, make a ironclad statement that the settlement agreement will have no continuing effect. I mean, I certainly hope that's what will occur, but we can't guarantee it.
Okay, and I just want to make clear for the record that we do not have an applicant here. There was a comment made by an applicant that had put in a pre-application. So just to be clear.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I think that answers a lot of my questions on there, but primarily a new project, a new potential specific plan will come forward for the small portion of what the larger project originally was. That's still a developable acreage. It's not infiltration ponds or a police station.
Correct, sir. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or discussion from commission? Okay, so we'll go ahead and open the public hearing at 6:18 PM. Are there any requests to speak on this item?
I have no written requests. Benny, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:18 PM. Do we have anyone ready to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll move that we waive the full reading and adopt by title only a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Beaumont recommending repeal of the Noble Creek Vista specific plan.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Copeland,
Yes.
Commissioner Cueva,
Yay.
Vice Chair Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Southern.
Yes. All right, that item passes. That moves us to item C3. This is tentative track map 38879 and variance for consideration of a proposed subdivision located west of Pennsylvania Avenue and north of 11th Street in the residential single-family zone. With staff report, please.
Okay, good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Jillian Fountain, Planning Staff. Before you today is a public hearing for the consideration of tentative track map number 38879 and a related variance request submitted to the city on December 21st, 2023. A public notice was placed in the Press Enterprise, and property owners within 300 feet were notified on April 26, 2025 of this public hearing. At this time, staff has not received any public comments. The applicant proposed to subdivide 2.70 acres, gross acres into 10 single-family residential lots, ranging in size from 8,500 square feet to 9,365 square feet, and one lettered lot. Concurrently, a variance from Beaumont Municipal Code Section 16.12.8080C, is requested to allow lot depths exceeding 2.5 times the width, which is not permitted under current standards. The project qualifies for Class 32 categorical exemption infill under CEQA Guidelines Section 153328. The property is located in the residential single-family zone and has a general plan land use designation of single-family residential. The proposed subdivision aligns with both the general plan and zoning code, supporting low-density detached residential development. Specifically with the policies identified in Goal 3.3.1, support the development of new housing opportunities as defined by land use plan contained in this element. Tentative tract map TM 2023-0012 is being proposed under Beaumont Municipal Code Section 16.04.010, requiring all land divisions to conform to the Subdivision Map Act and local regulations. The applicant is requesting relief from the maximum lot depth standards as defined in Section 16.12.080.c, which restricts depth to 2.5 times the width. The current proposal has each lot exceeding the requirement by 25 feet. Due to the irregular shape and site constraints of the parcel, compliance would render meaningful subdivision impractical. The request is made pursuant to Beaumont Municipal Code Section 17.02.110 and Government Code Section 65906, which allow relief due to special circumstances such as lot shape, topography, and surroundings. The required variance findings can be adequately met and are included in your staff report. Approval of the tentative map does not permit construction but allows for the legal creation of lots, which can be developed in the future subject to a minor plot plan, approval, and recording of the final map. The project is conditioned to ensure that no building permits will be issued until the final map is recorded. The Beaumont Municipal Code Section 16.04.020 designates the Planning Commission as the advisory agency charged with reviewing and making recommendations on all proposed tentative subdivision maps in the city. The PC can conditionally approve or disapprove tentative subdivision maps and submit them to the City Council for final approval. At this time, staff recommends opening the public hearing and forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for tentative tract map number 38879, TM 2023-00212, subject to the conditions of approval and a revision to the condition number 24 to remove the language to remove prior to the issuance of grading permits, and approve variance 2025-0024 to allow for lot depths to exceed 2.5 times the width, and direct staff to prepare a notice of exemption for the applicant to file with the Riverside County Recorder. That concludes my presentation, and I am available for any questions.
Great, thank you for that report. Do we have any questions or discussion from the commission?
So my question is, as far as water retainage, are we going to be requiring the developer in future, documentation that they're going to have retain the water on the individual properties?
It won't be in the future. It'll be when they're built. Each lawn will retain a certain amount. We also have the Blaine Warmer in the audience, the engineer for the applicant. If you'd like further discussion on that, I'm sure he could address that better than me.
No, I'm good, just as long as we acknowledge that the water is going to be retained on the individual lots, and they'll be notified of that they're responsible for that, the individual property owners.
Yeah, they're forming a HOA for this, right?
Okay.
It's been a while since I've worked on the Santa Ana permit. Is a WQMP required for a subdivision of 10 lots? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Both of these roads are dedicated with, 22-foot curb-to-curb collectors. Those are wide parkways. Has the road kind of been declassed recently to something lower? Or is it just, the collector just has a wide parkway through here?
No, the original underlying map dedicated 80-foot right-of-ways for all residential roads that were mapped at that time in 1895.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, there is an opportunity for individuals to vacate through the city, some of that right-of-way. However, we strongly
It's just a-
discourage it.
Right. Well, I mean, they're obligated to maintain landscaping on their property frontage anyway, so, you know, it's not, doesn't really matter too much. And then Lot A in the back, that's a easement lot that's gonna be held in fee by the city?
Yeah, I don't recall, are you dedicating, it? Is the map dedicating it in fee? And no, it won't be to the city, it'll be to the HOA. There's some drainage structures out there. And also, we do have, the city has public facilities through there, so we'll reserve an easement.
Got it.
But they are proposing a drainage structure that'll be in that Lot A, that'll be maintained by the HOA.
Okay, cool. I know easements or alleys can be a maintenance nightmare, so if it's going to HOA for maintenance, that resolves that concern. Okay, thank you.
Good. Any other questions or discussion from? All right. Perfect. Then we'll go ahead, we'll open the public hearing at 6:26 PM. Are there any requests to speak? Seeing one up there.
There we go. Okay.
Perfect, welcome.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, my name is Blaine Warmer Engineering. We're at 41555 East Florida Avenue, Suite G in Hemet. And we're representing the applicant on this project this evening. And do want to thank staff for all the work we did. This, it seems like a simple subdivision, but some of the drainage that we had to deal with and the fact that we do have WQMP to comply with. And sometimes the smaller projects are actually harder than a larger one, sometimes the way it goes. But Jillian took care of my only concern with the staff report and conditions of approval, and that was to just take out the grading permit prior to recordation. Certainly, we can't have any building permits applied for before recordation of the map, but typically we do grade before the recordation. So with that revised verbiage, I'm just here to answer any questions. Oh, another clarification. You already have an easement back there for the city sewer. So that it's Lot A back there for the drainage is going to coincide with that easement. So just a little formalization, if you will. So if you have any questions on me, I'd be happy to try to answer them. Other than that, we just respectfully request your approval.
Perfect, we appreciate your comment. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank
Do you have
you.
any questions from commission? Seeing none, I think we're good.
Thank you all.
Any other requests to speak?
I have no written requests. Benny, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing then at 6:28 PM. And do we have a motion?
I move to approve tentative track map 38879 and variance V2025-0024.
I'll second.
Perfect, we have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Copeland,
Yay.
Commissioner Cueva,
Yay.
Vice Chair Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Southard.
Yes. All right. That item passes, and that takes us to item C4. This is the 2024 Housing Element Annual Progress Report. We have a staff report, please.
Okay, good evening, Chairman and Commissioner. Sorry about that. Tonight, we are bringing forward the 2024 Housing Element Annual Progress Report. You guys have also seen the General Plan Progress Report earlier in July. Carol brought that forward. This is just kind of a housekeeping item that we are bringing forward, this report that our planning intern and myself worked on to put together for APR and Housing and Community Development, all of our permits that were applied for and issued last year. So this is just to make sure that we are in compliance. This is where some of our RENA numbers come from. This item does get submitted to HCD. It was submitted on the April 4th of 2025. There have been a couple rounds of revisions with HCD before they can finalize it. Once it is finalized, they do request that we submit it to the Land Use and Climate Innovation Office to certify with the California Department of Housing and Community Development. But we do have to bring it forward to Planning Commission and the City Council for review and just to kind of review it before we submit. The recommendation tonight is to forward a recommendation of approval to City Council to receive and file for the 2024 Housing Element Annual Progress Report and direct staff to submit the report to Land Use and Climate Innovation Office and certify it with the California Department of Housing and Community Development. I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you for that report. Do we have any questions or comments from the commission?
So I'm looking at the spreadsheet on here. So it's really, the intent is we just need to summarize the activity that's occurred in the last year.
Yes, we just compile everything that has been brought through with planning and the building department.
Okay. So all the units that have been constructed, let's say, are listed as above moderate. You know, we haven't had, I know we haven't had any applications come in for affordable housing projects. Is our affordable number, that doesn't change within the RENA calculation. We still have to provide a certain number of units.
Yes, and we do have an affordable one that is going to be, I'm hoping, on 2025's certification.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot less permits than it was in like
Yes.
2014, 2017.
Yeah, going through the
2014,
past couple of years, we can see the decline.
yeah. Okay.
All right, any other questions for staff? Hearing none, go ahead and ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend to City Council to receive and file the housing element report for 2024.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Sorry, before I do a roll call vote, I just want to double check we don't have any callers on the line for this one. It's not a public hearing, but I just want to double check.
I'm sorry, skipped over that. I
That's okay.
apologize.
Benny, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. Commissioner Copeland?
Yay.
Commissioner Cueva?
Yay.
Vice Chair Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Southern?
Yes. All right, that item passes. That takes us to item D, staff comments. Do you have any staff comments tonight?
Yes, Chair and Commissioners, I just wanted to give you a quick update on our progress with the Cherry Festival. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there was a three-party MOU that the City Council directed us to go forward with. It's with the city, the Parks District, and the Cherry Festival Association. So that was approved by Council. Parks District Board also approved it. And so we've been meeting just to coordinate the event, make sure everything happens as it's supposed to. And as you're aware, it's happening at the Noble Creek Park. So there's a lot of strategizing with regards to the traffic and parking control. So I think it's going to be a really well-planned event. But again, the city felt it had to get involved because there were some insurance requirements that the Parks District had for the association that couldn't be met. And so the city came in. City also donated money for the event. And so at the end of the day, next year, we're going to make sure we plan this way ahead of time. So 30 days after the event takes place, we're going to get together and start planning. But just wanted to let you know the advertising is going to be out there. It's already online. So please tell family and friends. We feel that there's going to be more of a regional attraction because apparently there's a very popular band that's going to happen on Friday. So we want to make sure that all that is coordinated with the traffic, because you know how it is when people come from out of town and they don't know the area, all of a sudden we can get jammed up.
Who's the band on Friday?
I don't know the name of the band. I know it's a Latin band from what I understand,
Okay.
but it draws a big crowd. That's what I'm understanding. But again, we're very excited. This is going to be the first time I attend this event, and the parade, you know, the first day of it. So excited to be here for it. That's all I had.
Perfect. I appreciate that update. Yeah, my son will be there with the fire explorers, so I will be there in person. Looking forward to it.
We'll be there at some point as well. Yeah, the traffic getting out was a big issue last year. You know, it was, it took 45 minutes to get out of the park. So granted, we left right after the headliner show on the Saturday, but it doesn't help. But
Well, hopefully people will take the transit too, because we do have our transit that's going to be providing from off-site lots. So that's an option.
Perfect. Well, we'll look forward to it. Do we have any comments from our commissioners? Any commissioners have any comments at this time? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and we will adjourn our meeting here at 6:36 p.m. Have a good night, everyone.